I'm Michael from TrainParrot.com, and this is Truman. He's finally back. He was lost for 48 hours, but yeah, we're reunited, and he's coming back to the park. All right, Truman, get a picture. Oh my God. Want to pet him? Yeah, this is Truman. He's found. Want to pet him?
You don't want you on TV, right? That one was on TV? That was?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what he says? Hey, cutie.
Want to pet him?
Want to pet him?
Excuse me, you know that Truman has to be free because
cutie.
birds always like to be free flying around the world.
Yeah, but you know, Truman's kind comes from Africa. They don't come from here, so he has no survival skills to live here, so he's just used to living at home. He likes that.
Truman, we missed it. Look at Truman. And he's still big.
Truman! Boy. Alright, Truman and I would like to answer some of your questions that we received online. First one's from Marina Guppy. She asks, what is it like owning a Cape Parrot? They are not common pets in Quebec, and from your comments, not in New York either. That's true. Cape Parrots aren't that common as pets, nor are they very common parrots in the wild. The South African Cape Parrot, in fact, is an endangered subspecies, and then the other two subspecies aren't that common, although they're not endangered. They are pretty difficult pets to keep. I don't necessarily recommend them. They would sound on paper like an ideal pet, and that's what I thought I was getting myself into when I just got Truman. They don't tend to be pluckers, screamers, or biters, but those are more common problems. So having a parrot with one of those, there's more information about what to do. Truman's a Cape Parrot, and it's not a lot of information about Cape Parrots. They're really difficult, stubborn birds. They don't learn quite the same way as other parrots do. The techniques that I use on other parrots, including Keely and Santina, they work flawlessly on those birds and many others I've worked with. But Truman has just really much more of a mind of his own, and he can be really hungry for a treat, and he will still get stubborn and fly away or do his own thing if he doesn't want to do it. Or there's other times when he's not hungry at all, and he'll be sweet and great and doesn't need any training. So Cape Parrot's a difficult kind of species, and you have to really be ready for a very complicated challenge to be able to work with one. Rebecca Lee asks what Truman's favorite veggies are. I'd say that Truman doesn't really like veggies. He usually throws them away. He doesn't really do much more than play with them. But he does love fruits. He loves mango and peaches and other sweet fruits like that. Don't you, Truman? Mary Grimes asked, do you ever use bird diapers on them? Nope. I don't want them sitting in their own poo. And I end up being their diaper. If I'm walking around too long and not paying attention, then they'll take a poop on me. Usually, though, I try to pay attention. And Truman actually can shoot such a projectile that he can shoot it off the back of my shoulder and not even hit me, so that works out pretty well. Don't even need a diaper with him. Jackie Lynn asks, just wonder, does someone play Call of Duty, or has Truman heard that game before? Jackie recalls that when Vaughn found Truman, that he was playing Call of Duty, so Jackie was wondering if Truman heard the sound of Call of Duty and was drawn in by it. No, in fact, I do not. I don't really have time for that kind of stuff, so I don't think that Truman's ever heard it before. So that was just a coincidence. Truman might have liked the look of the yard, or it might just be the first place where his wings gave out and he was tired and decided to land. So I think it was a coincidence, but luckily Vaughn was home and was able to come and find Truman and get a hold of me. Laura Lou asked, why do parrots like to have their beaks rubbed? Can you ask Truman for me? Hey Truman, why do you like to have your beak rubbed? I don't know, but I can sure tell you that Truman really loves it. He likes it more than any of my other birds. I think it's because he's got a disproportionately big beak, and he can't get it all himself. The beaks flake off with time, so even though they're like fingernails, they actually need to have the old surfaces removed the top bits get scratched off to allow for the newer bits, so I think they must get itchy, and Truman just really enjoys having it scratched for him to remove the older layers. Keely has a smaller beak, and Santina has a big beak, but Santina seems to prefer head scratches instead. Donna Taylor asks, why do you keep the leg band on? In fact, Truman's actually has an open leg band. Come here, bud, show us your leg band. So Truman's leg band was added post factum. He was not closed banded as a baby, and the open leg band was put on him when he was maybe 1 to 3 months old. I specified and actually asked to have him leg banded, and just for this very reason, Truman flew away. He's a flighted bird, so there's a possibility of that with any flighted bird. In fact, there's a possibility of that with any bird, because even clipbirds could sometimes mystify their owners when they fly away. So to ensure that if Truman ever gets lost, that people can identify him as a pet bird, as a not as a wild bird, and as a pet. And in order to be able to prove his identity, I chose to have him open leg banded. Donna says, have you ever worried about it getting caught in toys and have chewed string to a rope? Chewed string or rope, and yes, I do worry about that, but Truman's never gotten caught, and he's really good at breaking things and getting himself free if he gets tangled, so luckily nothing as bad has ever happened. If I could help not getting them leg band, I certainly would, but I don't know, there's no better form of identification for a bird than a leg band. And then Donna also asked, do you think it's worth microchipping? And she also asked, she asked if it's worth microchipping, and in fact Truman was microchipped about a week before he got away. And I actually written an article and made a video about that process, but I was about to post it, but Truman disappeared, so I was too busy looking for him. That article will be coming up on the Trained Parrot blog really soon about microchipping. Last question Donna asked was, when will you come back to TPC and CT in Connecticut? And talk to your club, have Truman and I love to come out and do a talk, so have your club talk to me. And Adele asks, what's Truman's favorite toy? That's hard to say. Truman just loves all his toys. No matter what I put in his cage, he's always busy playing with anything and everything. He really prefers materials, though. He likes harder woods and plastics. He's not such a fan of toys that he can't chew up. And Kimball wants to know, how do you avoid the clutches of a predator? Well, first of all, his wings. By staying off the ground, Truman was able to avoid stray cats and dogs, possibly one of his biggest enemies while surviving on the streets. And particularly want to know about hawks and eagles. There's not that many of them here in this urban environment. They tend to stay in parks and the more rural areas where there's trees and songbirds to prey on. So if Truman roamed more in the streets, fire escapes, and other man-made objects, the hawks and birds of prey tend to stay away from those. And also he's a bit of a bigger, heftier bird, so even though he might not be able to outfly them, those birds aren't accustomed to hunting parrots of his type, so that probably gave him a little bit of an advantage. Celeste O'Neill asks, I have a question. I've noticed that Truman very often seems to have his beak slightly open. It looks extremely endearing, but I haven't noticed it in other parrots, so it strikes me as odd. Have you ever wondered if Truman might have a problem with his nostrils or nasal passages, so he needs to use his mouth to breathe? Nope, that's just the Cape Parrot look. The Cape Parrot beak, I think what it comes down to is the Cape Parrot beak is so big that they can't shut it all the way. So it's that Cape Parrot smile that everyone notices, and just a unique feature to Cape Parrots. Truman's been vet checked on a yearly basis, so I'm not concerned that he has breathing problems. Thanks for your questions, and keep following Truman and his status at trainedparrot.com.
Do you prefer this or this?
Oh, just put your hand like this. Yeah, turn.
No. Hello. Hey there. Is he okay with scritches?
Yeah.
Alright. Alright.
Or start on the beak first.
Start
He
on the beak?
likes,
Okay.
he likes having his beak rubbed.
Can I try?
Just a second. Bud.
Alright. Just
Come
trying to
here.
be gentle
Come
with
here.
Sager. Oh.
Hey.
Sorry?
I like this. He likes it like that.
Alright. Oh. I've never met a Cape one before. So.
He looks so cute. He has the colors.
Alright. Very good.
Oh, is he a baby? Or is he a mom?
Yeah, it's like a baby.
Oh, it feels so real. I've never felt. Why are their nails so sharp?
So they can hold on. No, he doesn't really like that. He just prefers just on the head.
Fine gravity.
Whoa! talk? Hey, cutie. What you doing?
It looks like he
We're
wants.
glad you found him, right, Sophia?
Yeah. His feathers feel so good. Looks like he's a small baby.
Does he like the rain?
Well, he made it through one day of rain outside.
Rain outside.
Yeah, it rained on Tuesday.
I'm relieved he was found.
Truman! Truman?
Did you get it?
You know, he reminds me.
The downside of celebrity.
He reminds me of a parrot I saw.
Surprisingly, though, he can take it for a while. I mean, he's very, very docile about it, but eventually there's just a point where he's like, look at this beak. You're not going there. He never bites anyone. All he has to do is shake his beak around and no one dares push any further.
I mean, I've only had budgies, and my sister has a cockatiel, and I found they're like very picky with who they'll let pet them in the first place.
No, because he's blinking.
He's not so much, but it's just that, you know, when eventually he just doesn't enjoy it anymore. So here's the story about how Truman got lost on Monday morning. I had him out on this bench with his leash off. Wasn't trying to go anywhere. He wasn't spooked. He wasn't scared. He just didn't want to fly that morning. I tried recalling him from about this distance. He maybe came once or twice, but eventually he just didn't want to come anymore. So I went over and I had him come to me, and I lined up for a boomerang flight like we've always done, where I toss him like this, and he flies out. He does a little bit of an arc, and he comes back to me. First time he came back. The second time, he flew a lap of the park, and after he did that, he just went straight and down through these gates. Truman just went straight down through the gates and down 16th Avenue until I lost sight of him. So that's how he disappeared. Been searching this neighborhood for 2 whole days, almost going into the 3rd day, and about 48 hours into getting lost, I got the call from Canarsie that he'd been found. So we rushed over there and found Truman. Sure enough, he was playing on somebody's awning in their backyard. He wasn't even finished yet. He wouldn't fly back down to me, but when I came over and reached up to pick him up, he stepped up, he had enjoyed his almond, and then he said, okay, I guess I'll go home. All right, it's time for Truman to go home. It's time for Truman to go home. He enjoyed his reunion with the park and all his friends. You could read the complete story about how Truman disappeared and the search that entailed at trainedparrot.com/Truman_lost.